And I know this sounds silly, but I want you to start bringing out a pen and pencil, or maybe bring out a notepad on your computer, or just something that you can start to write things down. And we're going to be setting goals for 2022 because this is the last FitPro show of 2021. And so it's a perfect time to actually sit down and write those goals out. I know we talk about it all the time. We say we're going to do it, but we're actually giving you the time to do it today. And we're going to guide you through writing that goal. Oh, let's see if I can get this moving on. Just making sure you can see my screen, right, Hannah?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so we've all heard of SMART goals, and Hannah, you want to kind of go over these ones? So as you write your goal, I want you to keep these in mind, and we're going to start to adjust them as our slides go on, but we're going to start broad right now. So,
So when it comes to SMART goals, you always want it to be pretty specific, a way to measure it. So how can you tell if you actually are completing that goal? Attainable, so another, like, needs to be realistic, something that, not something crazy and out there that you can't successfully complete, and then relevant, so it really applies to you, and time-based. So you could say, I want to be able to do 5 push-ups in, let's say, 2 months. So you're basing it in that 2 months. That's your goal. By that time, you really want to be able to do that number. So that's what it means with the SMART goals. It'll just help you be able to set goals and set yourself up for success. So these goals can be as big and little as you want, but start jotting some of those down. I don't know if Cassie, you have any SMART goals coming up for 2022.
So a few things. I want you to write 3 goals here. And as you write them, we really suggest that you think of more performance-based goals. So rather than saying, I want to lose 20 pounds, I want you to take that pressure off of yourself. And I want you to think of more performance. Like Hannah saying, maybe you want to do 5 push-ups by March, or maybe you want to run a 5K, or, but kind of aim your goal more towards performance, and rather than like weight loss or like physical appearance. Hannah, I don't know if I actually haven't set any fitness goals for 2022. Do you have any?
Yeah, mine, when it comes to goals, like, I'm usually with performance based. I am never really huge about numbers with my weight and reps and strength that I have. Mine is always like being able to at least get 30 minutes of exercise in every day, whether it's, and I do like a rest day. So on those rest days, like, instead of going to the gym and lifting, I'll do like a walk and just get that movement in. So I always have these goals in the back of my mind. I've gotten pretty good at achieving them, so I definitely need to challenge myself a little bit more. Maybe I can change it to 45 minutes. Who knows?
I think those are great goals, Hannah. Yeah, setting, like, maybe just being active for 30 minutes a day. And I know a lot of you are probably listening, like, we've heard all of this before, but we really listen to it, and I'm guilty of this too. We listen to it, we can say it all the time, but we don't actually set the time to do this. So I really encourage you to follow along as we go through this. So now we have our 3 goals, and if I'm going too quick, you can just let me know in the chat box. We're not going to have you share these. These are kind of personal goals. If you want to, by all means, feel free to share them, but this is something very personal, so we're not going to ask you to share it. But now I want you to take those goals, and I want you to kind of, so all the 3 of the goals that you have, and I want you to kind of set a short-term goal for yourself. So short-term to get to that place. So if it's doing maybe 5 push-ups by March, maybe your short-term goal will be to get 1 push-up by the end of the year, or something along those lines. And then long-term, like Hannah was saying, this is where those healthy habits are going to come in. So, you know, going on a daily walk at lunchtime, or something along those lines, something that you can really see yourself being successful in long-term. So go ahead, take a look. I think, Hannah, for myself, when I'm thinking about like healthy habits, especially working from home, getting myself to like get out of the house and go on a daily walk. sometimes it's a lot harder than like you would think.
Yeah. Especially with the rain, like when you live in a place where it's kind of rainy, like you always make excuses for around this time, especially with Christmas. Because my short-term goal is next week. Like obviously next week is pretty hectic for a lot of us. Holidays can be, even though it's a time of joy, it's stressful. Gotta get this gift for this person, start getting grocery shopping, baking, like all these, like get the house clean. So like for a short-term goal, maybe your goal next week is to be able to get that walk in and prioritize yourself during that crazy time, because around this time is when people really put everything else in first instead of themselves. So maybe that could be a short-term goal the week leading up to Christmas. I know for me, it's going to be to continue with everything and not let myself get stressed. So deep breath, slowing down, like remembering, oh, I should go to the gym today before I go Christmas shopping.
That's actually a great point. And I think I'm not so great at that myself. We were just talking about in Cupid Bites, this is my first year hosting Christmas. And so, yes, it's been a lot of like, I need to do this for them. I got to get ready for this. I got to do this. But yeah, if we don't take care of ourselves, it's like that saying, you can't, with the oxygen mask, you got to put it on yourself before you can help someone else. And it implies or applies here too. You can't help other people until you can help yourself. So not just for the holidays, although it's a prime example of it.
Yeah, the what definitely helps me as well is sometimes like setting a goal for me is sometimes you just literally write out a list of what I need to get done. So that's one of my short-term goals for next week, is just write down a list before the weekend starts or before next week sometime. And then I'll just start checking off the goals that I want to get done throughout next week. So maybe that's where you guys are all at right now.
Yeah, that's a great idea. My boyfriend, Nick, tries to get me to write lists all the time. He's a big proponent of the list. Okay, so now we're going to get into the nitty gritty of those goals. So you should have this written down. And if it looks like a spider web and there's scratches and there's edits, that's good. That means you're editing your goals and you're listening and thinking about that. So if there's scratch marks, you can always rewrite it later. But how are you going to achieve those goals? We have plenty of offerings through the fitness centers that will continue in 2022. You're here at the FitPro show, so this is a great start. Setting your goals is another great start. But Hannah, I'm going to let you kind of go over all of the different hows here.
All right. Well, obviously, like we're on FitPro show. It's all about fitness on here. So we're going to go into a little bit more of like how you can still reach your fitness goals throughout, especially these next couple weeks. And then coming into the new year, we're going to have a completely new QFit schedule that's going to have a lot of fun classes, changing things up. We've listened to what you guys want. So maybe you come into the next year, we're 2 weeks into January, 3 weeks into January, we're sending out that QFit schedule. You really want to prioritize yourself and your health. That's when you're going to sign up for all those QFit classes, get them on your schedule, even if it's 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes afternoon, and then you do something else on your own 10 minutes after work. There's your 30-minute workout for the day. Like you got it in, even though it wasn't all at one time, it still counts. You could also sign up with personal training, just figure out what works best for the time of day for you. Just coming into the new year, I know we all set these New Year's resolutions, and a lot of times we fall off, especially we see that towards the end of January, February. Some people make it to March, and then it starts going into, okay, I got to make new goals. So really setting those goals that are realistic. And a lot of that just helps with setting or getting these things on your calendar. So blocking off the time, meeting with our nutritionist, and then just finding someone else that wants to reach some goals with you. I feel like whenever you're voicing to someone else what you want to accomplish and say, or even if it's your boss and say, hey, I can't make this meeting because I'm going to bodyweight boot camp today, like, or you're scheduling a lunch break with your buddy to do a walk together or a workout. So I just think that there's a lot of things that are provided to you to be successful, and January is definitely the time to take advantage of it and get started.
So I'm curious if anybody has any hows that they wrote down that we don't have listed, whether it be through HP or just something on your own. Feel free to put that in the chat box or unmute yourself. But as you do that, I'm going to go a little bit more into this personal training thing because I think it gets overlooked quite a bit. We do have a lot of Q-Fit classes and they're great, but if you're looking for your individual goals and workouts based on your own level or experience or just so that you can reach your own goals, we are trained to help you individually. For example, one of my clients, he hasn't run for a while. He's starting to feel pain in his knees and in his back, had gained 30 pounds. And we've been working twice a week together for the last year, and he's running again, pain-free, and he's stronger than ever. He feels stronger, he feels better. He's even getting his fiance to sign up for personal training too. She's also an HP employee. So it is worth the investment. And we'll talk about budgeting here in a second, but anybody have any how-tos that weren't listed that they want to share?
I guess another how-to for me would be under the find a accountability buddy is especially letting your family members know, the people that you live with, whether it's your spouse, your kids, say like, hey, I really want to reach 7,000, 10,000 steps a day. Like maybe they want to start going on those walks with you and say, hey, I want to really eat healthier this year, like put good nutrients in our body, and then they'll help you with that grocery shopping and planning healthier meals. But getting them on board is definitely crucial to your success.
I agree. That's a great idea, Hannah. All right, so I told you it was coming, the budgeting part of this. So what I want you to do on the bottom of your sheet that you're writing on, I want you to list your top 5 self-care priorities. So whether it be fitness, whether it be getting your hair and nails done, what do you value? And everyone's going to be very different. Whether it's, you know, your health, your hair, your mental health, maybe getting massages, chiropractors, going to the chiropractor, whatever your top 5 are, don't worry about what's coming next. All I want you to do is write your top 5 that you value right now.
So what are yours, Cassidy?
Oh gosh, I had a feeling that was coming. Fitness is always my number 1 priority. I think actually my social health is probably number 2, especially with this working from home. I've definitely felt like I need to intentionally prioritize my social health and my social relationships. I like to do my hair, but I don't know if I'd put that as my number 3. I'm a big foodie, so I like to try like new foods and go to different restaurants and try different like cultures of food. So that would probably be in my top 5 too. What about you?
Definitely fitness first.
Sure.
Like my gym membership is like $15 a month, so that one we're good. But what comes with that is I do like to buy exercise clothes like quite a bit. So that is, and I feel like when I look good, I feel better. But social health, 100%. I'm luckily don't ever have to pay for my hair. I just don't get my nails done. So I'm good in that realm. But definitely self-care priorities. I need to start focusing on my mental health a little bit more lately. So that's going to be something I need to figure out coming in the new year.
All right. So with those top 5 priorities, I want you to create, well, don't think about the top 5. All I want you to do is create a budget for yourself, a realistic budget for just your self-care in general. So, you know, this is what you value. So just an overall budget. Once you have that overall budget, then you can prioritize accordingly with those 5 priorities. So number one. So for us, we're probably going to spend a little bit more because fitness is both of our number one priority. We're probably going to spend a little bit more in that category compared to other categories, but I want you to do what you value. So everyone's going to be a little bit different. And then with that, so say fitness is our number one priority. Hannah says she spends that budget for her workout clothes / gym membership. You can even go into further detail on that. You don't have to pay for a gym membership as a HP employee. You have free fitness classes. So maybe you spend it on personal training. If you're working from home and your fitness center isn't open, then you could maybe spend it on a gym membership that's local to you. There's just different ways you could do, like, this is very personal. So take the time to think about it, write it down. Maybe there's something that you've been wanting to try. There's a lot of free monthly subscriptions out there.
Yes. I also just want you to know that, like, you might be noticing that, wow, I don't actually spend much money on my self-care at all, or time on my self-care at all. So maybe that's what's happening in your head right now. So maybe 2022, you're gonna start spoiling yourself a little bit. Like, you deserve to. So maybe that's where you're at. Or maybe you're like, wow, I am really, really spoiling myself all the time. I mean, if you have the means to do so, by all means, go for it. But this can definitely right now be opening your eyes to wherever you're at, because some of us might be way up here and some of us might be way down there.
Yeah, I think self-care, like we said earlier, like, you can't help other people until you can help yourself. And so the oxygen mask thing, you gotta take care of yourself before you can take up care of other people. And it's a really hard concept to grab. And especially if, I'm sure a lot of us are very selfless and we like to take care of our families and we like to take care of our friends all the time, but you have to be in the right place to be able to do that. So that's important. And the budget doesn't have to be very big. Maybe you buy yourself a bubble bath every month or something like that, like, because that bubble bath is going to encourage you to take 30 minutes or an hour to yourself every week, so it doesn't need to be a big one.
I also think that for some of us, especially if you are a parent, your self-care, you might feel like taking care of others is what you like to take care of yourself. Like, they all need to be happy. And sometimes we gotta just kind of rearrange that mindset. Yes, their happiness will affect your happiness, but your happiness really, how you are doing, comes first. And so really thinking about that, because I feel like I need to help everybody else and make sure everyone that I care and love about is doing 100% okay. And then it might be too late that I realize that I'm actually the one that's not doing okay. So just realizing that.
I think before I go on to the next slide, a lot, like, what we as coaches here, I think more than anything else, is time. How am I going to find the time to take care of myself? And believe me, I understand. We understand we have a lot on our plates as program managers, but what would all of this mean if we didn't lead by example? And like, for example, I have a client who, her mind shift, a personal training client, her mindset has recently shifted. She has a manager position with HP, and she never had time. She used to love working out, but then there's always something else that comes up, and so throughout the day she couldn't take the time to exercise because there was always something new. But finally she said, you know what, no, my self-care, I feel better when I work out. I'm a better employee. I'm more productive when I get my exercise in. So I'm just gonna block this time off, 30 minutes a day. It doesn't need to be a lot. 30 minutes of my work day at this time, at this day of the week, I'm going to dedicate to myself. And I have to say, I brag about her a lot because I'm extremely proud of her. And that's not easy to do, to, take time for yourself over, all of the other things that are going on with work, or all of the other things that's going on outside of work. But she says she feels more productive afterwards. And so just keep that in mind. How do you feel when you're done exercising? How much more productive are you?
Yeah.
And this is our last one. Just get excited about it. It shouldn't be like a drag. It shouldn't be like, oh, now I gotta go work out. It should be something you're excited about. And your goal should be something that you're excited about, depending on what it is. Maybe trying something new should be a goal.
Yeah, I feel like you should be, sometimes we dread workouts because I mean, sometimes working out is hard. But you gotta just reverse that mindset and be like, I'm thankful for my body. Like, you only get one body ever, and like that's the body that you want to take care of and to last you a long time and to feel good. So why, like, set those goals, be excited to utilize your body and make your body stronger and more capable and healthier. I also have an analogy that was shared with me one time with our boss. Have you heard the brushing your teeth analogy from Alita, Cassidy?
Maybe if you say it.
So it's recommended that we brush our teeth like every morning, every night, and we all do. We have since we're little, or at least I hope we all do. But we brush our teeth and then say,
we're supposed to do that?
say you are on a camping trip, you forgot your toothbrush, you're just staying for one night, so you just don't brush your teeth. Like, you just can't. Couldn't make it happen that day or that night. And then say you get home the next day, what do you do before you go to bed? Grab your toothbrush and you brush your teeth. You get back into it, you do it next morning, next night. So when we set these New Year's goals for the next year, a lot of people set these goals like, I'm going to work out every day, or I'm going to eat healthy every single day. Say you have a fun weekend, you eat a like big burger, fries, milkshake, like you splurge. And then what a lot of people's mindset shift when it comes to that, whether they missed a workout or they had a really bad eating weekend, they go, oh, well, I threw away, like my goal was to do it every day. I ruined it. So I'm just like, I'm done. Like, obviously I was too hard, and they just throw that entire goal away. Instead of just rearranging our mindset, say you did have a really delicious dinner one night, and then the next day, wake up, make your healthy breakfast, healthy lunch, like get back on the train instead of just throwing it away. Same for working out. Say you miss working out for 2 days and you're like, oh, my goal was to get 10,000 steps a day or get those workouts in, and I didn't. So now I just can't. Like, instead of missing it one day and jumping in the next day, like, and giving up still, I think switching that mind to how we brush our teeth, and the next day you forget and then you get back to brushing your teeth, the same thing needs to apply to our health and wellness goals.
I actually haven't heard that analogy, but that was a good one.
I heard it, and it really opened my mind, because us as fitness professionals will set some crazy goals sometimes, and you'll be like crushing it, and then I'll just completely not get my water intake, like just not do so well one day, and then I'm like, oh, I can't do this, it's too hard, and I just give up.
Yeah.
But so
we're going to open the floor if anybody has any questions. If you have, and if you can send it to Hannah or myself directly, so you don't have to share it if you'd rather keep it private. But if you have a question, somebody else probably has the same question, or if you just want to share about your goal or what you have found successful, you're all peers in the same workforce. And so what you might have found successful or what worked for you might work for other people. So now is the time we're going to open the floor for all of you.
One of my big goals is to drink water. Sometimes I'll like realize I'm on my second cup of coffee and it's noon and I haven't had a sip of water yet. That has been my struggle. So I ordered a really nice water bottle, and it's one of the ones that like tells you like, you drink this by this time, and then it's noon, like drink water.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that'll be here soon. And that is one of my big goals for 2022 is I really need to increase my water intake, and I just know it'll help with so much. So that's,
do you have any
by ordering something, a tool that's going to help me, that's what I
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. That was an investment.
Exactly.
You're budgeting. Do you have any goals that you were successful in 2021? And this is open for everybody. You're all very quiet. You're a quiet group here. This is a judgment-free zone.
Okay, so one thing I've done is I've recently started listening to podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
and I use my walking time to do that. So that kind of incentivizes me to get out and go for a walk. And I enjoy listening to a lot of podcasts. Yeah. So
Do you have any favorite podcasts?
So I listen to the Daily, and I've
Okay.
been listening recently to NPR's Throughline. Has a lot of historical podcasts. So I've been
Fun.
quite. I've been learning something in the process, and also enjoying my walks out. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, especially because cardio and walking can get boring. Like everybody, that's why no one just wants to hop on an elliptical for 30 minutes, like unless you really like it. But finding something that you really enjoy to help motivate you, like those podcasts, is huge. And so, like she was saying, like that was something that helped her. And she's learning something at the same time. So
yeah,
like a
great idea.
Double win.
If you're looking for a new podcast, I love How to Be a Better Human it's like with the people of TED Talks. And so they have a different speaker every time, and they have different subjects. And I've really been enjoying that and have been learning from that. So if anyone's looking for a new podcast to listen to, that's a good one. Oh,
thank you.
Yeah. I'll have to give the Daily and then NPR, of course. I like to do the same thing. I love podcasts. Anyone else?
My dogs motivate me to get my steps in. That's a good motivator.
My goal for 2021 was to learn Spanish, and I have to say I've been pretty consistent with my Duolingo. I lost my streak. I had like a 200-day streak and then lost it, but I am still learning, so hoping to continue that. So it doesn't always have to be fitness related, but
you followed the toothbrush analogy. You didn't just throw it away because you missed a day.
I know. I did. I may tell you, it was hard though. It was hard after a 200-day streak to be like,
I get that way with my steps. If I really like to get 7,000 to 10,000 a day, and so say I get like 12 days in a row and then I miss one, I'm like so mad at myself, and it's hard to like get back into it. But I just have the analogy in my head. One day is not going to break you, I promise.
Yeah, that's right. Anybody else? I know people are going to start hopping off, but thank you for joining us on the last FitPro show of 2021. And I know Hannah and David are going to be taking over next year. So have a great holiday break, everybody. Thanks for listening in.
If anybody has requests for the FitPro show next year, me and David would love to hear them, whether it's certain topics, time of day, anything in that realm. It'll definitely help the show continue to be successful. But really excited to be part of it.
You'll do great.
Thank you.
You're doing great.
Thank you.